Thank you so much for everyone for joining this call. And this webinar is about how to market your brand in a post-corona world. And I've got two very, people in this field who will be able to answer all our questions. And if you have any questions from our panel members, feel free to put them in the chat. If you would like to ask your question on video, then you can just raise your hand on the chat, and we will put on your video as well as unmute your mic. But that will happen post our call. But if you have any question during the webinar, feel free to put it right into the chat. Before we get started with the questions, I just want our panel members to briefly give a brief description of what is it that they do, and what is it that they do basically. Yeah.
Okay, hi guys, this is Meghna and that's Roshni from Studio Click. We're a digital and marketing and design agency based out of Gurgaon, Delhi. So we're here to speak a little about, of course, Sahil and Shrishti asked us to come on board, gave us the opportunity to do a little discussion about the marketing trends and the changing trends in the new normal of the current pandemic. Roshni, you want to fill them in on who we are a little?
Yes, so we run an agency, and we have in Gurgaon, as Meghna mentioned, and we primarily we focus on design and digital marketing. Now, digital marketing is obviously has a lot to do with social media as well, and a lot of collaborations, cross collaborations, third party collaborations that we mix for our brands with. We kind of are their how do I explain?
So we build, of course, we build
brands, yeah,
and we work with established ones. We work with startups. We work with people who come to us and say that I have this brand and I want to make something out of it.
Or even at a lot of points, it's even come down to like we have an idea and like we kind of give birth to the brand. So we've had people come to us who have just been like we want to start doing clothes. So we kind of build it from scratch to like where they are now. So
a lot of product development and brand consulting comes into play in this stage of many of our clients and their brands, be it skincare, be it launching a new product, fashion. Of course, people come to us because we actually, as a team, we started with just fashion, luxury and fashion. So overall, after moving further, we realized that there are a lot of industries that we can tap into, be it beauty, be it jewelry, be
F&B. So over the last, I think our company is approximately about 4 years old, and we started with fashion, and now we've moved on to like anything and everything.
In fact, yeah, we've reached that space where we want to explore doing education as well, and people have reached out to us to market schools, and that's a challenging concept, of course, but like we said, we're also in this learning process and we're trying to take up the challenges as they come.
Okay, so thank you so much for that introduction. We'll get started with the questions right away. So my first question to you guys is, what is the impact of COVID-19 on digital marketing, branding, and PR for any company at this point of time?
So the thing is that right now I feel like everyone, no industry has kind of been, barred from this pandemic that is happening, because everyone is affected, and obviously everyone is affected in different capacities. But yes, everybody does have an impact on them. So what we are trying to focus on is that how to kind of make the best of this current situation. Now, if you see online and stuff, like there's so much of like negative news that that everyone is just constantly bombarding you with. So we want to kind of focus on the positives and kind of, now this is the situation, right? Like now, how do we make do with the situation? So everyone has been impacted in like different capacities, but how to make the best of it is what we're trying to figure out.
So for us,
I just want to explain my question a bit better. So basically, I'm trying to say that what are our companies, should they be doing, or are they doing digital marketing? Should they be doing, or are they doing branding at this point of time, or should they leave it for later?
For this particular answer, I would say that yes, digital marketing has been of utmost importance right now, because it is one of the portals that are very important for any brand or any industry to communicate with their target audience,
with their
final
happening,
consumer. So digital marketing right now the impact of COVID-19 on marketing has been, for a lot of the brands we know, it's only been increased. Their spends, their time, because everybody who's affected, or all of us who are working from home or sitting at home, including our parents, we're all consuming a lot of information on the internet. So this is a chance where the impact of COVID-19 has only made digital marketing a little more important, I would say. Even the
and
branding
it is the need
aspect,
of the hour. Like it is definitely the need of the hour, because everyone is spending maximum of their time on the internet. So if it could be on like social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, but everyone is constantly in the digital world. So I feel
the
like
brands have also taken that under consideration, and they've put in their efforts, and their as brand consultants for a lot of brands, we've also gotten briefs which are very direct, that yes, this is the time that we make the most use of our digital platforms. At the same time, branding, and when you speak about branding and rebranding, it's a sort of a surprise, Shrishti, but we've received so many calls, so many inquiries on our social media, which we never used to at such a pace, where people are spending the time in rebranding, in branding.
I feel like also, people who had like an idea and did not have the time to act on that idea now have it. So a lot of people are now using the extra time that they have right now to kind of figure out how they can make, something that was a thought for them into kind of a reality now. So, and the existing brands are also having a lot more time to focus on their digital strategy.
And rebranding strategies. Like, do they want to change the voice for their community? Do they want to change the look and feel for their community? Because this is the time that they could spend the most thinking about all this, because you're not eventually like doing, B2B, B2C business. You're not spending time in office. So this has been a time for a lot of clients, for ours also, who've spent time rebranding, redoing their communications, their tonality, their dialogue with their consumer. Be it coming up with new ideas like starting newsletters, or WhatsApp communications, where we have tapped into very recently for a few of our clients. So I feel like the impact has been good on digital marketing till now. So let's see how that goes.
So before we go to the next question, I just want to address 2 points made by people on this group. Aditi Mahajan has mentioned that spending amount on ads in social media for product companies good in COVID-19. I agree with you. I think they were making the same point. Sharon Lobo has said that could you share an Instagram handle? Definitely, we will in fact be sharing the Instagram handle as well as the email to everyone who registered on this webinar. Okay, so I guess I've addressed the question. So let me go back to my questions. So talking about this, do you believe that companies will now have to shell out more money for branding post-COVID, like on their online platform, or will it be about the same? Like, will they have to spend more money to get the same return on their expenditure than they had to in the past? What do you think?
So we don't think it's necessary, like not necessarily do you have to shell out more money, but definitely you have to kind of ration out like what you use when. And it's also very important to right now as a brand, maybe, go back and see like who we've collaborated with before, and like the kind of partnerships or relationships we've kind of built over the time, and kind of take leverage of that as well. So, for example, like let's say if brand has been doing a lot of cross collaborations with like a particular blogger, it's time to connect with them, because see, everyone is definitely going to be very empathetic right now of the situation. So it's kind of necessary for us to go back and see what we can do with our resources, rather than kind of pumping in more money. Where I would suggest that people definitely do put in a little bit more money would be maybe in ads, because right now a lot of people are sitting at home on Instagram, on Facebook, and ads, when you're sitting on your digital platform, the ads are the only thing that are kind of attracting you right now. You also as a consumer, there's, you're always on the internet, and right now you don't have much to do. So you will definitely look into these ads. You spend a lot more time than you usually do.
So the actual,
like, because I'm seeing the ad now and I probably can't place an order for that product or that service.
A lot of brands are actually offering, they're also being very flexible, which is very important right now. And they're being very transparent. So being flexible in in terms of like, a lot of people are offering that, okay, you can pay right now, you can get it delivered later, or you can, kind of place your order right now and pay and get it delivered as soon as the lockdown is over. And also a lot of, again, everyone is putting it out there that, that everyone is taking the necessary steps, whether it is, how they're delivering it. Like F&B people are making it very, very clear as to how they are going about the delivery, right? Which is why it gives you, as a consumer, it kind of comforts you that, okay, they're also taking care of it. They're keeping our current situation in mind. They're working on those terms. So the ads are like, our main focus needs to definitely be on kind of like directing people. If you have a website, to the website. And this ads are, like, from our experience, definitely the ads are working. And it obviously depends on the kind of...
So of course, a lot of our clients have reduced budgets, but a lot of the clients at this point increased budgets also, especially the essential givers and the people who thought that this is the time that people would be interested in their products. I'm not talking about luxury clothing or luxury jewelry. I'm talking about
more necessity-based
brands, like skincare brands, or for that matter, self-care brands, or loungewear, nightwear brand. These are the kind of brands which are focusing a lot of their I would say ad expenditure, marketing expenditure. They're pushing it more in because we are seeing results. There are always, of course, two ways to it. Right now, also the confusion between the orange, red, green zone. I think everybody is equally confused, be it the logistics people or the brand owners. So we are giving that, communication. Again, communication is key with the complete transparency that yes, you will get your product delivered as soon as the lockdown is lifted, or however the logistics are allowed. I would say the actual bottom line of any business is to make more money, right? For us also, when our brands are getting us on board and they're asking us about marketing budgets that they need to set aside for the year, we are also respecting the fact that they will set aside these marketing budgets for a final goal of making more sales, making more money. So for me also to do these ads, we review them on literally a 48-hour to 72-hour basis. Is the ad doing well? Am I reaching out to the target audience that I had to? What is the click scenario? What is the actual call to action that I am pitching on to? And is it a clear call to action? So if you are shelling out more money, you need to do it with a plan
and very strategically.
And of course, have that, like Roshni said, ration out your plan for the year. You always come up with your, as soon as the year starts or the financial year starts, for each business, it's different. You come up with a marketing budget and you span it out in a way that is effective in your particular area of expertise or your brand, your industry.
Sure. Okay. So before I move on to the next question, there's a question from on the chat from someone saying, hello, how does a marketing brand market themselves? So
great question is for you. I think this is a question that we've been very, very intrigued about ourselves. So, I mean, Srishti, being in this industry for the last 4 years, and I don't know if everybody here or you guys have noticed the upcoming interest and enthusiasm of this industry particularly. Like I was joking with, and I was sitting with my father and I told him, I said, Dad, digital marketing is the new lawyer. So everybody just wants to do it. Everybody wants to be in it. Everybody wants to be a part of it and learn it, which is great, of course, with the kind of future that it holds. I feel it is great. For that matter, graphic design in India has come.
It has a huge potential. See, like as a kind of career option, also it has huge potential, like which we've seen, but to market, we have to also be very strategic in how we market ourselves, right? It shouldn't come too in your face, or it needs to be subtle, but it needs to also bring about the point of like what we do, kind of.
And I would say let your work speak for yourself. If you are here for the good, if you are in it with passion, you will be marketed with word of mouth, with your work itself. So once you are,
and be very clear in what you offer, like services wise also.
Exactly. So till date, I think Studio Click has not been like very planned out with their marketing strategy, because we genuinely don't have
and we just push out like the work we've done. So like for us, that's always worked really well.
Yeah. We believe in word of mouth marketing. So that's,
So another question from the participants is, there is a common preconception that consumer brand loyalty will undergo a paradigm shift post-COVID. major noted brands may soon give way to localized counterparts. What is your take on that? Do you have an opinion on that?
I feel like there will be a paradigm shift. We like it or we don't. There will be a paradigm shift when it comes to consumers' loyalty, consumers' thought process, their purchasing powers more than anything. I always believe, or we always believe as a company, we always tell our team also, when you're working on a brand or when you're working on a communication for a brand, think of yourself like a consumer. So will you shift when you are after this pandemic, after this, the new normal, whenever it comes, we hope it comes soon, will you change your buying behavior? Will you think more before buying local or shopping local rather than buying something from, say, a counterpart which is coming from Korea, China, everywhere? So we our markets are flooded with choice, with variety, with a lot of things that were not needed at times, and we forgot a lot of things. While as shoppers also, we forgot about sustainability. We used to talk about it because it was the new cool, but we forgot shopping it. So I feel that shop
right
local,
now also, like as a trend, shop local is really at it right now, and I feel like everyone will kind of shift to that as a marketing. Like if you have a brand that does kind of produce locally and everything, now is the time definitely to push that. And because we do see like consumer behavior shifting towards more of what is made in India and stuff like that, and kind of supporting our roots as such.
So they have they also have sentiments, and their sentiments are going to reach out towards your brand if you are made in India, if you're completely locally produced and locally sourced. So try and reach out to your consumer, because this is where communication again comes into play. Reach out to them. They will be sentimental about it, because times are changing and we will see a lot of change in the consumer's way and loyalty towards Indian brands, local brands versus international brands, or I would say sourced internationally.
Okay, interesting. So I'll just go back to some of my questions at the moment, even though we're seeing a lot of engagement, but let's just, keep it mixing up a little bit. So how do you think digital marketing trends will change after COVID-19? Like, will there be any change in the way that digital marketing is done, or like how the target audience is chosen, or the localization impact? Like how do you think digital marketing will change?
There definitely will be a change in trend, and I think it's very necessary also right now. And I think what the brands will do and should do is focus on two very, very important things. One is empathy, and the second is transparency. So you definitely need to be very, very transparent with your consumer, because that is of utmost importance right now, because something like this is kind of affecting our safety, our health. So it's very, very necessary to be transparent about that. And I feel like a lot of brands are already doing it, and a lot more are going to focus on it, because how you receive your things and how it's being made, like everyone is very intrigued right now because of their safety, right? So it is very important, and I think a lot of brands are already doing it. Like you see a lot right now, people are putting out, how they're packaging their stuff, or how their factories are, kind of maintaining all the protocols that need to be done.
Han, also one point that I would like to add is Instagram was always considered a shopping tool for some reason. So that trend will change. It will change because it will become more of a communication tool, a marketing tool as a whole, not a standalone method anymore, because people were so aggressive with their Instagram marketing specifically, not just Facebook, or not like their website marketing, but a lot to do with Instagram shopping. People were being aggressive with stories, with ads. You would literally swipe at next, and there would be a ad sponsored, be it of F&B like KFC. I used to see a lot of KFC ads for some reason. So I feel like that method and that trend will change a little. People will use these tools to now start communicating. The trends will change when it comes to influencers also. I feel like that's one point that will be raised.
Yeah, and also I feel like Instagram should be used as a marketing tool, but not a standalone option, So it needs to, like, you need to focus more on things like your websites, or like, your emailers. It will definitely be like a form of where you can communicate the fastest to your consumer, but it shouldn't be a standalone option for sure.
Okay. Fair enough. I just want to now go back to some of the questions on the chat. I think Manjula Shekhar, I think you can answer this briefly if you wish. As an academician, intend to know about digital marketing and its role in student enrollment post-COVID. Is that so? She's asking about student enrollment in presumably in maybe online university or possibly an offline university. The role of digital marketing. You can answer that briefly if you like.
I feel like, just to be honest, I feel digital marketing will affect people's choice when it comes to enrollment. I mean, it's affected a lot of our choices. We are enrolling in short courses, if possible, learning a new language, because we're being flooded with that news every day and courses every day and ads per se. And then you see, then you see they will show you some testimonials and stuff. So I feel digital marketing is working very well there. I myself have signed up for 2 courses that I have forgotten about, but yes, it's working.
Okay, great. Another question from Pranav. Pranav, this side, my question for you is digital marketing, influential marketing, or affiliate marketing? Which one would be the new game changer? Would you like to address that? Which do you think is more likely to
I feel like digital marketing.
change?
I feel like digital marketing will always kind of trump
all the others,
for
a while at least.
For a while, because see, with with influencer marketing and stuff, also it's kind of limited, right? To your it'll help, like how do I say? Like,
it'll add to your digital marketing efforts, but it'll be a correlated effort. Like right now, a lot of it will be a little far-fetched, because your influencers need to be in connect with your brand. They need to come and show your stores, to try on clothes, try on jewelry, come in for sessions at a beauty salon. Those things are not possible right now. So I feel like, again, like I mentioned in the earlier part of our conversation, is leverage your old connects with influencer marketing. The influencers you've already been in touch with, make sure that they reconnect with their content or your content. And other than that, digital marketing is where the focus will be for a while, till the end of this year at least. We're not going out, so print and affiliate marketing is something that's going to be on a pause.
All right, another, but he was talking about more influencer marketing. So that's more, someone on Instagram who has like 1 billion followers, not a billion, whatever.
Actually mentioned that. Sorry?
Shishi, I think hear you a little. Yeah.
I think talking more about influencer marketing. People who have a good following on Instagram or these kind of forums, and they post something about the brand.
As through that. Mentioned before, also that it is important, but it will not, like, digital marketing will still hold a much stronger ground on this thing, because influencers can, it happens for a limited amount of time, right? And you have to do it consistently for it to kind of be as effective. Doing one collaboration and not having a follow-up is not going to help in a big way. Where digital marketing, if you right now is the time more to actually bring out your brand's owners or the face behind the brand, because that is someone who people will connect with. Influencers are definitely important, but
we will say it's
secondary
important
right now.
It's secondary right now. Why we say is we do a lot of influencer collaboration. Studio Click is actually known to be connected to a lot of influencers abroad as well as in India, pan India. So we've been having a lot of our campaigns had to come out with the influencers. One of our influencers, the campaign that had to come out, she stays in Amsterdam, Indian global influencer, and we had to pause it right now because the influencer collaboration is for a call to action,
right? So, and the call to action for my influencer would be probably to visit the store or to eventually to buy the product. Now, for me, for us, the problem that you'll face when you're doing an influencer campaign right now is that the call to action will be
either visiting your store or buying something, unless it's absolutely essential or necessary.
I don't see it working right now. Maybe in the next few months, it might start working because a lot of people are focusing on, other things giving flexibility to your clients. So it might, a lot of people will be focusing on maybe digital, styling, options, services
yeah.
and stuff like that. So at that point it might work, but to convert right now for your collaborations to something solid is a little difficult.
So yeah, we always say that whenever we also pitch influencer collaborations and marketing to our clients, we believe in having an ROI in place. The kind of investment that we have to make these days with influencers, with third parties, is it's actually a marketing expenditure which a lot of brands keep aside, of course. But at the same time, it's important to see the ROI. As consultants, as a digital marketing firm, we are supposed to answer these questions.
You need to see what it's getting you. If you're spending an X amount of money, it needs to get you an X amount of business. So, that is kind of very...
It will come into play 100%. We also have a feeling we want to do a lot of influencer-generated content in the coming months for our clients. We already have plans. We already made plans for like the winter, because that's going to be one of the most important seasons in this year. So we have made plans, but right now what we feel, according to your question, I would say current importance is going to be digital.
Okay, so I'm going to head back to some of my questions. Okay. This is a more general question. We've been asking very specific questions about digital marketing. I want to ask you a general question. Why do you think brand identity is important for every brand? What is the relevance of brand identity?
So I feel now this is again, because a lot of people come to us with this question: why is brand identity, like you do brand identity, why is it so expensive? Why is it so important? Why is it becoming such a big necessity nowadays? Initially, it was very different. Like you and I both know, when we were growing up, or when we saw brands, there were certain brands that we always remembered the identity of. Like, I'm going to be little candid and tell you that as a child, I always remembered Just Do It with Nike, because that's how I learned it. And I used to take these quizzes.
The recall value for it was really high.
With the taglines and the colors of brands. We started taking quizzes when we were learning, when we were giving these exams like aptitude tests and stuff. We were learning a lot about logos, identity. So since then, I feel like the trend is changing, and identity is becoming very, very important for every brand's personality, their communication, their dialogue, and their overall building of their community, be it with their colors, be it with the tonality that they want to finalize on or establish at the time of commencement of their business. So identity is something that will stick with you forever. It will be something that will be resonated with
and
you.
I feel it also helps in kind of putting across the values your brand holds, or the story behind your brand. So that is why it's very, very necessary. Because it's
if it's like,
it's the way you communicate with your consumer. So,
and you tell about your brand and your values and why your USPs sometimes, be it a small motive, be it colors, be it a tagline, be it a nice tagline that you want to put out for your brand. It's something that you need, it's important right now, because that is what will help people recall you
and distinguish you from a lot of other brands, because there's so much competition in any kind of industry. And it is what will distinguish you and what will set you apart from, the herd.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to some of the questions from the participants. So can you speak a little as to how branding and marketing for a service, for example, a mental health professional, is different from that of a product? This question is from Nehmat Gurbant Singh.
So I'm going to just read it out again. Can you speak a little about how branding and marketing for services like mental health professional is different from that of product? It's a sensitive question, yes. And to be honest, I think we got reached out recently.
And I feel like it's very different how you market a service versus how you market a product, for sure. Because you have to, again, a service, when you're providing a service, it's very necessary to be, to kind of define your target audience really well. You definitely, for your target audience, you can't just say that, a 30-year-old woman is my target audience. You need to be a little bit more specific. You need to get into, age group, gender, education, like their education qualification or their personality traits, and you have to kind of dig deeper and figure out who your target audience really is, so that you can speak to them directly. So if someone is coming, let's say, if I'm what service does, if I'm, let's say, if I'm someone who helps with mental health, I might feed needs to kind of resonate that. It needs to make the person who's coming there feel very, very comfortable. And my content needs to be very personalized to that kind of target audience.
Personalized content, not aggressive content, which we do for a lot of product marketing. I would say personal experiences and testimonial related content. I don't know how much of the Indian audience is comfortable with that, but I feel like that's something people will actually connect with.
Yeah, and your personalized content will always result in like higher conversions. So that is very important.
Okay, so we have another question from the audience. What do you think is the best form of marketing for a edutech startup based on learning while doing platform during and post lockdown? Do you want to read it again?
Yeah. What do you think, which is the best form of marketing practice for edutech startup based on learning while doing platform during and post lockdown?
So right now I feel like you definitely see everyone is sitting at home, so you have a lot of free time. So a lot of people, again, as we mentioned, are taking up courses and things in the education field. People are trying to brush up their skills and things like that. So definitely right now the best form of marketing that you can do is maybe take out something which has, because see right now everyone budget wise is kind of saving. So maybe you can start up with maybe like a free trial for something. Maybe you can have, use those kind of techniques where
those kind of methods in marketing also. Like right now, it's the best time to give them a little bit of a free space. Let them try it out.
Flexibility again, because the thing is that I know that right now it's very, very necessary to be flexible. So maybe if you start with something like a free trial or like with, free. It doesn't have to be like
or
the entire course.
A friend, sort of reference marketing maybe.
Yeah, like what Uber did initially, like they used to do like this, we'll give you like £5 for like every friend you refer to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start up some program like that, or maybe you start with like, okay, we can give you like a 15-minute a free consultation, which will kind of give you that leverage to get more consumers and more people engaged. So if people do like it, then they can kind of go into the whole paid method and go into these courses and stuff.
Okay. So let me go back to some of the questions that I've been asking you. So going back to some of the topics that we touched earlier, how does the change in customer sentiment or behavior, how will it affect business post-COVID? Like, are luxury brands going to survive? Like, are people going to still be buying as many coffees or donuts as they were doing, or any luxury products? You said you're into fashion. Are people still going to be buying like jewelry? Like, how will change in customer sentiments really affect businesses post-COVID?
So we have to be prepared as brand owners, as marketers, as consultants, that customer sentiment will 100% change. We were as kids also always taught save for a rainy day, and I feel like everybody will, at least this year, will be a little sensitive towards their purchasing behavior, purchasing powers. There is a luxury segment which will get into revenge buying, according to us. From our studies, from our research in the last 45 days, we've realized that there is a lot of consumer ready to revenge buy right now. Be it, we were reading Starbucks started delivering again, and people were actually so excited that they started tagging the people who were posting their cups with, and they started saying, stay positive. They started writing, stay positive, we are here for you on their cups.
The message, that's what, like the message that you send out as a brand is also very important. So like something
so that will change the customer's behavior again. Like if I am going to, or if I'm waiting for Zara to start delivering, I feel like the little efforts from a brand also to maintain the loyalty of their customer has to be rethought about, I feel. So customer sentiment and behavior will change. Let's be prepared for it. Be it luxury, of course, we have a lot of brands which do weddings and exhibitions and jewelry. So that kind of that shift, that paradigm shift has to come. We are not going to be attending exhibitions. I don't see us attending weddings in the near future as much as we'd like to. And in fact, Shrishti, I'll highlight here, we have three wedding clients, wedding industry planners and decors. So that's one industry that's badly hit. It's badly hit. We don't know the future. We don't know the near future.
It's a very uncertain time. So like, it's very important again to like also remember that like, even though like we have a brand, like, you might have a brand, but also think from the consumer perspective a little bit. So think that what you would like to, like what I like, if you go into your personal kind of insight and think of like what you would like to receive from a brand like this, that is where you'll kind of get your answer.
So when it comes to, I feel it will affect a lot of businesses. The behaviors people will want to do. I'm just talking about weddings right now because it's going to be a very, very important topic in the coming future. People will want to do micro weddings, sustainable weddings, against those big fat Indian weddings that we all are a part of. So that trend will change specifically. Luxury market. I feel it will take its consumers' loyalty back slowly and steadily. But until then, this is where focus on the products that you were missing out on. Maybe smaller products, smaller ranges, product development, fashion development for fashion designers. So it's very important to focus this time and gain their loyalty back through your product development, because you have a manufacturing unit, you know what you are. I'm not saying a couture brand should start making loungewear. No, don't do it. But start offering pret, because that is how the trends will change.
I feel like also offering, discounts and like being a little bit more empathetic to your consumer is also very important. So if you can't, you can definitely, like Meghna said, like if you have a fashion brand, like luxury fashion brand, you can kind of come up with something slightly more affordable. It might be a limited amount.
Because they still want to buy, they still want to shop. And as two women ourselves, we feel like we're also missing out on that aspect of life.
And you can't travel for a bit also, right? So like it definitely, you are going to
shift towards Indian brands. Your savings will go towards more like valued things rather than things that are of shorter shelf. Frivolous buying will stop, I feel. So the consumer behavior needs to be studied while we're doing this whole process.
And it will keep evolving. Like I feel like the consumer behavior right now will be different than a month later, and will be definitely different 6 months from now. The constant study is very, very necessary to kind of maintain what you do.
Makes sense. So I'm just going to go back to some of the questions being asked by the participants. Astha is asking, what are your thoughts on starting a new brand post or during COVID? Do you advise to do so?
It depends on like what kind of brand it is, right? So like it depends on what you're like. I think we'll need a little bit more information to kind of give you a relevant.
Yeah, but Astha, I think the fact that we mentioned people are spending the time in brand and identity development, because this is the time where you can do a lot of research. Your product production is on hold right now. Yeah. You can't reach out to B2B or B2C or e-commerce platforms. So this is the time, I would say, if you are planning
focus on your branding, and then you can figure out like, your launch stages and everything. This is a very, very, very good time to kind of plan out everything. So where before you wouldn't have had the time to, plan out right now you can make a full 1 year plan, kind of divide it into phases, figure out like, how you can, how you are going to launch, spend more time in prepping, and definitely spend more time on your branding so that your communication whenever you decide to launch
is perfect to begin with. At least you should be the most satisfied with it. This is a question where why we're saying spend more time is a lot of people want to not sleep over branding. They want that process. They come to us, can you make a logo for us in 2 days? Can you just finish our branding and packaging in 1 month? We only have 1 month. Please do it for us. So that's when we say that this is the most important phase of your brand. You will want to be the most satisfied with it. So please spend time in that. We also want to grow, we want business, but sometimes we have to say no, because we see that, that people want to do, that their timelines are something that don't sit well with us, because we also like to sleep over the branding and identity of a startup.
Okay, so I have a very interesting question. For a low budget startup, which website is best for digital marketing? Google, Facebook, YouTube, or Insta? Where do you find more bang for your buck?
Very interesting question.
I feel like Facebook definitely does lead, like your conversions are much higher on.
But of course, it depends now what the startup is, because
it depends on your product or the service.
So, if you are looking for a lot of call to action and
also depends on Google. And also depends on your target audience, right? So because I feel like once you define your target audience, will you be able to see where they spend more time? So if my product is a little bit more luxury oriented, I would suggest Instagram. If it is a slightly more massy product, I would suggest Facebook. So that it kind of depends on
The
product or the
I
service.
just want to add something here, my 2 bits, even though I'm not from the digital marketing industry. I find that Google is intent based, whereas Facebook and Instagram is more passive. So if someone is like actively searching for a product and you're ranking on that and you're paying per click on that,
You definitely know what they want, right?
it might be higher for direct that kind of direct marketing than the passive marketing that we see on Facebook and Insta. But then again, Google is extremely pricey, so I don't know if you get your bang for your buck doing pay per clicks or not. So
Yeah.
so there. So another one is for someone wishing to launch a new brand, how can we use this time to start and build an audience while the product is not yet in place, since sampling and production is impossible? How to go about building a community when call to action is impossible? Since the number of people online right now is higher than ever, should we and how should we start building an audience right away, or wait till the product is in place and build it post quarantine?
Very, very interesting conversation. And we have a lot of our clients who are in this situation. 2-3 of our brand new clients, everybody's production stopped, sampling stopped. We were in that phase of shooting for their catalogs and their campaigns. So I would like to answer this with a very sought out strategy that we have designed for a particular brand right now. Definitely kickstart your community building. Community building is very important. Study your target audience, start putting out I would say content is something you cannot produce right now, even for that matter, because you will not have your samples. There will be no photo shoots, there will be no end
This
product.
is where I feel like you can kind of graphically show what it is. So like, let's say if it's a service, you can kind of set a tone for what it's like. I'm not saying that obviously you don't have your sampling in place and stuff like that, but you definitely can show through mood boards or just putting out your brand values at that particular time. Focus on your branding. Bring that out.
So we
Explain
call
to people,
this in a normal world, we call this filler content on social media. When you're filling people with not just you're giving them a break from your product, you're giving them a little bit of information about your company, values of your company, values of how you treat your employees. So this is for a new brand right now, this is the time to start communicating all of that. Start communicating your USPs, start communicating your vision, of course, start communicating different aspects that you will not find the time to communicate when your brand actually launches, because that's the time you will be focusing on sales, on
directly
sales.
on your product.
Yeah. So build this time to actually, build your community, talk to them, and start telling them the different points where you wouldn't have the time to do it in a normal world.
Alicia, I want to address this question as well, just because I think it's a very interesting question. I think as Meghna and Roshni were mentioning earlier, a lot of people have started, developing their ideas or their brands or their concepts during this Corona time, because they've gotten the time that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten. Right. So a lot of people are spending time, trying to figure out how to launch their brand, and the end product is not, the only thing when it comes to launching a brand. There's a lot of content that you need to build. There's a lot of engagement with the community that you need to build, that you can start building even without having the product itself available. For example, like since lockdown has started, I've actually been working on 3 different brands, and it has reached different stages of completion. Like I have a company which is Drones India. Right now I can't supply drones to anyone, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't build my website. I have put like a shit ton of blogs out there. Everyone can go check it out on drones-india.com/blog. I started engaging with the community. I'm on all Facebook threads. I'm on all Instagram conversations. I'm not selling anyone blogs right now, but that doesn't mean I'm not engaging with everyone right now. Similarly, I've started an online dispute resolution platform. It's very early stages. I'm just in the process of empaneling the arbitrators. So it's going to be a few days, but I've already, my page is already built out. I already have about 500 followers. I'm putting out content which is actually useful. I've gotten lawyers asking questions about webinars of of useful topics to people, like what about labor and employment law in corona times, or like any sort of webinars which are relevant to people at this point of time. I've started putting them out there in the legal fraternity. Similarly, I'm launching another brand which is book office online, bookofficenow.com, where someone can just go and book an office without having to go and visit the property, because I believe that remote workers will be doing that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So again, I can't deliver my product right now. Like, no one is actually booking an office right now. But isn't this the best time for me to get everything in place before actually the lockdown opens up? So I think this is absolutely the best time, and you should spend all your time and energy in building an audience, building a community, engaging with people, generating content. I think I'm a big follower of Gary Vee, who's this big like digital marketing guy, who says content is like water to a plant. So if your business is a plant, then it's like giving content is like putting water on it. So if you're not putting water, if you're not putting content out for your business or for your brand, your plant's going to die anyway. So when you put the seed in the ground, the first thing you do is you start putting water. So content, I think, is very key at this point of time. I'm so sorry I took over the conversation.
It's actually to hear it out. Also, in actual technical terms, when you start doing social media marketing and you own an agency, we have to divide content phases. So we call this phase a brand building phase, a brand communication building phase, and we tell all our clients, please forget the first month when we take over, because that's when we will be building your brand. So we will be building your communication.
And right now you have all the time right now, so you might as well focus like the free time you have right now in educating people as to what exactly your product will be or what your brand will be.
So yeah, definitely don't miss out on this time.
Yeah. Don't wait for like things to get better. This is the time.
This is the time to communicate. Yes.
Great. So I'll ask more questions from the chat itself. Someone's asking, Raj is asking, post-COVID, which may be the best 3 forms for marketing for a startup which is into after-sales automotive services. So you can briefly answer this question. Otherwise, I'll move ahead.
Which may be the 3 best forms for marketing for a startup, which is basically focusing on after-sale automotive services. I will be a little blank here.
Okay, so we'll move on to another question. So sorry, Raj. We'll answer another question.
Raj can send us this question later with a little more
like information. Yeah, and then maybe we'll be able to help better.
100%.
Then we'll go on to another question. My question to you was that nowadays brands are more focusing upon emotional connect with their target audience, which is currently not possible with digital marketing. I want to know your thoughts about that. Companies like Cashkaro, Cred are growing more because of affiliate marketing. So Pranav Rastogi has asked this question. Would you like to frame an answer to this?
Just a second. I feel like emotional connect is very, very possible on digital marketing. So there's a big miss out here, Pranav. What I'd like to say is this is what we've been here for. We are having this conversation because emotional connect on digital marketing is very, very possible, which is why we're again and again pointing out to the same, point is empathy, transparency. This is the emotional connect that you're establishing with your consumer today. If you're talking to them in a positive manner, now you're on the internet, you can for a while completely miss out on your official guidelines. So this is the time where you can change your tonality a little with your, the kind of portals that you're talking about. Cred and Cashkaro are growing more because affiliate marketing. Now, everybody's choosing their best format. Like I said before, people are picking out the platforms that are suiting them best. And that is a study every brand is going through, be it a startup brand which is focusing more on affiliate marketing through WhatsApps, through calls, through C2C, like customer care initiatives and stuff that we're trying for startup brands. So like you said, I feel digital marketing and emotional connect go hand in hand right now. Of course, you can build an emotional connect with your audience through digital marketing. And it all depends on the content you're pushing out. If your content is emotional, it's well thought of, it has a personality, it will emotionally connect with the consumer.
You have to know where to kind of hit the, you know, the nail on the hammer kind of situation. The hammer on the nail situation. Yeah. Because, you know, you have to know, you obviously know your audience. So if you know your audience, you'll know what will connect with them. So you, again, personalized content is very, very important. And as long as your communication is clear cut, they will connect to it emotionally for sure.
Yeah. Or the other way to go forward is, of course, you know, there are a lot of brands that are asking their community what resonates with their community. I've been seeing a very, very, you know, we've been seeing some campaigns because we study campaigns a lot. So we saw a clothing company in the UK has been asking their clients, like, would you want us to talk about new products?
Yeah, do you want us to launch, you know, launch a new collection right now, or do you want us to post how we were usually posting? You'll find a lot of actually influencers and bloggers also asking you for the kind of content that you want to see, which is very important.
That is the emotional connect you're building with your consumer. Eventually, you are actually taking in consideration what they want right now, and that I feel is
and what they're looking to see. Like, it's very like, and you know, the fact that they respond, you also get like like as a brand or as a person also, you get insight as to what people are looking at.
Yeah.
If people do want to, you know, want you to launch a new collection, or if people do want you to, you know, pause everything and maybe not post as regular as you usually do. So that there are a lot of ways that you can emotionally connect online
with your consumer through
online
digital marketing. Yes.
Okay, so I think it's 5:55 right now. So I want to ask you my last question before we actually wind this up, because it's a very pertinent question, I feel. Do you think that should brands be going ahead with their big plans for 2020, or do you think they should put them on hold? What do you think?
So
I think one thing that we should just remember is, like, the internet is, you know, corona immune. So as long as you're showing things digitally, like, it's not it should not affect.
It's not cancelled. The year is not cancelled. So please, let's not forget about the plans that we had. So, you know, we've been reading these amazing quotes and amazing things about how life is not cancelled. Of course, festivals will not be cancelled. There will be a Diwali. There will be a.
It might be a different than what it usually is, but it will definitely be there.
So the plans that you have, be it a new launch, be it a groundbreaking service launch, be it a groundbreaking product launch. A lot of our clients have seasons, like fashion, you know, or jewelry. We have seasons. We have new looks coming out every quarter. So big plans, don't stop them, but just rethink about your marketing strategy.
Like, adapt to what's happening, basically.
Adapt to what's happening. Where you used to go out and, you know, spend money on print marketing, of course that will stop for your new big plan. You will focus more on digital marketing. Eventually places will open up, eventually things will open up. We will have to go back to normal, otherwise the economy will also, I guess, die. So big plans, yes, please go ahead with them, please focus on them. Yet you just have to change the way
adapt.
Change and adapt
to the current situation.
Rethink your marketing strategies, rethink your launch strategies. You can't have launch events anymore. You can't be hosting a 300 people party to launch a new product anymore. That's not going to be possible. So let's think about virtual live sessions, virtual, you know,
something as simple as, like, for a fashion client, kind of doing digital appointments, right? So you can have them, you can send out a question, like, just an example, but you can send out like a questionnaire to your client, to your customer, and ask them, you know, what are the type of things that you want to see, and then kind of curate them, and then have a digital appointment
of sorts,
you know,
of sorts. Yeah. So yes, you have.
There are ways that you can like work around everything.
Of course, there has been a pause in the launch plan that we probably, the big launch plans or big plans that we had for maybe this summer. I feel yes, but at the same time, after this, we will have to just reshift, realign, think about our strategies. That's it.
So thank you so much, Roshni and Meghna. Thank you so much for your really interesting insights on how to market your brand post-COVID. And thank you so much for all the participants for you know, participating in this webinar. We really hope we from Hub and Hope Co-working Spaces really hope you found it useful, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you guys. Thank you for obviously attending this. And if you have any questions, of course, I think Habanook mentioned our Instagram handle, and of course they've been very helpful. So please reach out to us, and thank you.
I'll send everyone a mail with your Insta handle and your email ID as well.
Thank you. We're more than happy, and thank you for giving us the opportunity, Sahil and Srishti. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Kicked out.